Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. Welcome to season 2 of Still Versus Podcast. This podcast was created for women by women. We are here to have very real and honest discussions in a very overfiltered world. We're welcoming you to the show. I'm very excited to have you here. You are listening to Jenny this morning. And by this morning, you'll listen to this at any time, but it's 6 o'clock in the morning for me while I record this. Because you'll hear me say on almost every episode, my optimal recording time is 6 a.m. Uh, anyway, welcome back to the show. I'm very excited for season 2. We have just a tremendous guest roster for season 2. You're going to hear some voices from season 1 coming back around because I mean, they're just amazing. So why not? You'll hear, you're going to hear a lot of episodes that are going to be very impactful. The goal here for season 2 was to make sure that we had a really diverse range of voices, diverse range of topics. I'm trying to diversify the voices even more. So I'm hoping that I can deliver on that for you. And again, it's all topics focused on, you know, situations related to women. And, I don't want to, and I will say this in this opening episode here. And it's not to take anything away from men. Men go through their own struggles, but I'm not an expert on that. I am an expert on being a woman. So again, thank you for joining us, joining me for season 2. Very small update, from season 1 to 2. My co-host Melissa, she's still present for the podcast, still going to be recording, episodes when she's available, but majority of the episodes you are going to hear just solely my voice. In the interest of setting boundaries, we just recognized the challenges we were having recording, and my schedule is a lot more flexible, than my co-host Melissa's. So I'm going to hit the ground running for season 2, and then Melissa will come in and record episodes when she's available, and then it'll just be like that extra special boost. And then you will hear 2 guest episodes a month and then 2 solo episodes a month. And again, like the topics are ranging across the board. So let's get into it. I do want to talk about something that I've been hearing a lot about via social media, via my husband, people in general, doctors. I'm just hearing about this all the time. And I know January is traditionally a month that everyone uses their New Year's resolutions to kick off their weight loss for the new year. I also will confess I have been one of those people that make those kinds of resolutions. Sorry, coffee sip. So I know January is typically focused on that. And I want to talk about weight loss in general. But I want to talk about something very specific as well. So, I mean, I've mentioned this on other episodes. I have gone through my own very long journey with health and weight and how I feel about it. It probably will be a journey I travel my whole life. But I do very deeply understand what it's like to feel like you're stuck and that you can't lose any weight on your own, and you're seeking out anything that will help give you that extra leg up to lose weight faster. We're an impatient people. We are an impatient society. And for the majority of us, it is very difficult to accept, just 2 pounds a week because you want that immediate gratification of like, oh, I've lost 10 pounds. Now, I think I have tested personally almost every over-the-counter product there is, to help boost weight loss. Can't remember them all, but I know I tested pretty much all of them, including way back when ephedrine just hit the market, and that was readily available before they realized it was giving people heart attacks. So I pretty much touched all, starting from the age of like 15 all the way into my 20s and 30s. Now entering my 40s is a very different time. One, um, I no longer believe in the medication support for, well, not no longer believe in it. Let me back that up. I do believe medication has a time and a place. And I do think doctor intervention for weight loss has a time and a place. I sincerely support that. And let me tell you why, because I after I had my kids, my body just was not cooperating. And for a lot of reasons. It wasn't just because it was my age, it wasn't just my age. It was my age. It was um that my body had changed physically, like the chemical makeup of my body had changed physically after I had my twins. Um and then it was also how I was handling myself at that time because I after I had my kids, I was struggling to lose weight. I had been pregnant in 2016 and 2017, and that basically set me up for baby weight, and just off the charts. And I was miserable. I was miserable. I'm not one of those people. And again, this is not to cast judgment. I'm not somebody who is very comfortable being overweight and obese. I felt it in my joints. I felt it personally on an emotional level. Um, and I just wasn't comfortable with it. Now I know that there's a lot of movement out there to glorify obesity and to say, like, body love and self love, and I am with the self love. Like, we should all feel good about ourselves. We should all not. No one should ever feel like they're not a human being just because of their weight. Like, that's not an appropriate response to people who are overweight. Um, but I do think very strongly that there needs to be a healthy balance, because when I was, and I can only speak from my personal experience, when I was very, very overweight and and obese, um, I I physically was in pain a lot. And truth be told, it's because of the weight that you're carrying around. Picture strapping 100 pounds to your back, or to your back and to your stomach and to your thighs, and having that's like 100-pound weight suit on your body that you're carrying all the time. That has a physical toll. That takes a physical toll on your body. I don't care what anybody else says. It does. It takes a physical toll on your body. And while I am here for people loving themselves and people feeling comfortable in their own skin, I personally didn't feel that. I felt very uncomfortable. And so I did seek out um, support from medical professionals to lose weight. I just could not seem to do it on my own. Um, so I did see doctors. I met with nutritionists. I had a battery of blood work done, just to make sure that losing weight was going to happen, because on my own, I couldn't do it. I had to re-educate myself on health and fitness and what it meant to eat healthy. I had no idea, apparently. I had no idea what it was to eat healthy. I made the assumption that, or I made the leap that I had to starve myself, or I had to eat salads all the time, or, and it, again, like, it was a journey of discovery of what worked personally for me, because we are not all the same person. And thinking that a one size fits all diet is going to, make sweeping changes is not really, it doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't. We're all different people. Our bodies react differently. So, with that all being said, and the reason why I want to share that all with you, and it was a very personal journey, it was a very emotional journey for me. Um, I have since um, lost quite a bit of weight, and I still have more to go. Like, it's one of those ongoing things, and it's more of a personal goal for me and how I feel comfortable and how I want to see myself. Not everyone needs to do that. Like, where I am currently, there's a lot of people that would be happy to be here, and I am happy to be here. I'm making my peace with myself, and that's my journey that I'm going on. What concerns me very deeply is this Ozempic um, trend that is happening right now. And I don't think a trend is an appropriate word, because to me, this is like a pandemic of women and people who are desperate to just lose weight very quickly, um, and are putting things in their bodies that they don't quite understand. I support medical intervention. I've said it already. What I don't support is grasping at, prescriptions like Ozempic for weight loss when it was never intended for you. Now, there's another product on the market called Wegovy that was indicated for weight loss. But there are still side effects to that. So I really want to talk about this. Now, I've talked to people who are taking Ozempic or Wegovy rather. I've talked to medical professionals. And I've done a hell of a lot of research that I'd like to discuss with all of you today, because the concern here that I have is that people don't really understand, the mass population doesn't truly understand um, the pharmaceutical industry and products and how they are um, released on the market, and then what you really are looking at when products are released. So let me just take a step back here. Ozempic specifically, because that seems to be like the topic that everyone's paying out of pocket for. Having their doctors are saying, yeah, okay, I'll give you a prescription, and you're paying out of pocket for it. Number one, doctors who are doing that, they're educated, but make sure you also educate yourself on the pros and cons of it. Now, it's important to really understand, like Ozempic in particular, is indicated for diabetes. So what is diabetes exactly? Now, this is important to really understand all this. If you're considering grabbing this drug, if you're on it right now and you don't have diabetes, and you're not really meant to be taking this product, this is really important for you. So I really want you to hear me on this. So diabetes itself is overall, so your body breaks down most of the food you eat into sugar, which is glucose, and then it releases it into your bloodstream. So when your blood sugar goes up, it signals your pancreas to release insulin. And insulin is basically the key to letting the blood sugar into your body cells to be used as energy. With diabetes, your body doesn't make enough insulin, and or it just can't use it as it's intended to be used. So because it cannot produce any or enough insulin to regulate your blood glucose, your blood glucose levels become very high because of this insufficiency in insulin. So Ozempic in particular, it's an injection that helps lower blood sugar by helping the pancreas to make more insulin. That's the science there, right? Like, just in layman's terms, basically, right? Well, so what happens when you're giving your body a medication to increase the insulin when you don't need to increase your insulin? So the pancreas releases the amount of insulin necessary to transport glucose out of the bloodstream in order to keep the blood sugar level in a normal range in your body. When you add more insulin, the pancreas is going to compensate, and it's going to shut off the production of insulin. You've just changed how your body operates. Our bodies are meant to operate a specific way. It is a pattern. There's a purpose between almost every single organ. Not almost. There's a purpose. Although, what is it? My appendix was out. It was taken out, and everybody was like, "Oh, you don't need it." It makes me nervous. It's there for a reason, but whatever. But for the pancreas, it produces insulin. Like, that's your natural production of insulin. If you're not meant to be taking diabetic medication, what is happening inside your body while you're enjoying your weight loss? What is happening to your body? Your pancreas is shutting down. So people who are taking the newest class of diabetes drugs for weight loss, they are really taking their health in their hands and kind of playing Russian roulette with pancreatitis. And this is not just, oh, I saw something on social media, and it said all this. I went through the Journal of American Medicine. I looked at the CDC. I looked at the FDA. I definitely did look at blog posts because I wanted to see what people were saying. And Johns Hopkins University. Like I went through papers, guys. I went through medical papers to look through all this stuff. And the, there are there are going to be long-term effects here on your body. Now, I can hear my 20-something self in my head saying to myself, well, I don't care. I'll deal with it down the road. That's tomorrow Jenny's problem. Today's Jenny is going to lose weight and look hot for summer. I'm listen, guys, I've been there. This isn't the way. Now, if your doctor prescribed it, not Ozempic, Wegovy, because Ozempic is not indicated for weight loss, but if you are given a prescription for weight loss medication and your doctor is hand in hand working with you and you have regular checks to make sure that you are physically okay and that your body is handling these products okay, that's something. At least that's something that you're caring for yourself. But if you're not paying attention to that, if you paid out of pocket for a drug like Ozempic and your body is not meant to be taking that particular product, you are going to cause long-term damage, because if nobody's monitoring your intake of the product, you could go overdosing on it. There's a lot of very serious implications for these types of products. Now, if you do want to look this up and you're like, Jenny, you sound nuts. I found this statistic that says pancreatitis is listed as an uncommon side effect from Ozempic. Less than 1% chance. Less than 1% in 1,000 patients had a pancreatitis from Ozempic. Yeah, true. Absolutely. That statistic is out there for people who are meant to be taking it. Let that sink in. There's a greater than a 1% chance and less than a 1% chance, whatever that means, because I'm staring at the statistic. So it's a very minimal chance that Ozempic will cause pancreatitis if you are meant to be taking it. Now, there are loads of people taking this that are not meant to be taking it. Loads at this point, because it's everywhere. It's spreading like wildfire. What is this going to do to you long term? Side effects overarching that have been reported: gastrointestinal issues, hypoglycemia, pancreatitis, as I already mentioned. The FDA is currently evaluating the need for regulatory action due to intestinal obstruction. So as it stands today, people have reported to the FDA side effects that they were experiencing through Ozempic, and the FDA has flagged it. Now, again, this product has a place. There is a time and a place to use these kinds of products. But the abuse of these kinds of products, the overuse of these products, you will experience potentially lifelong effects. Now, the other problem here, and I want to make this really clear to everybody because, again, I don't think everybody really truly understands the process of getting, and I wouldn't either, but I work in the industry, so I know it and I want to share it with everybody. When a pharmaceutical company identifies a product that they see, like, oh, you know what, this has potential, this might have legs. They start putting money into it for research, and data collection and trials. There's a lot that goes into it, but it's not 30 years of trials. Okay. You'll see, a 1-year trial. You'll see, you'll see things of that nature. They're a little bit shorter in period of time. I've seen in 3-year trials. They can go longer depending on the product and how much revenue it's bringing in. And if there's a potential to make more money off of a new indication, you'll see a longer study there. But Ozempic and the class of drugs that Ozempic falls into with Wegovy, it's called a class. And this particular class has not had long-term testing. So that truly means that in 10 years, we really don't know what the long-term effects of these particular products have. Now, I'm going to remind everybody about a massive ad campaign for the HPV product that had come out Now, I think I was in like my, oh gosh, late 20s ish, roughly. Um, when this particular late 20s, early 30s, when this product was being pushed. I can't remember the name of it, but it was specific to HPV, and it was targeted specifically to parents to say protect your children. HPV is a problem, protect your children. Now, I was kind of shocked because all of a sudden there was all these commercials about HPV being a massive problem out there. And HPV, I always thought it was considered a sexually transmitted disease, but it turns out like that the way they were marketing it, um, that it wasn't. Hold on, I'm going to Google it really quickly. What is HPV virus?
Let's take a quick break.
Are you interested in podcasting but not sure where to start? My name is Jenny Benitez, and I'm here to help guide you through your podcast launch and maintenance. Check out the link in the episode description for Podcasting Unboxed, your comprehensive startup guide. I am very excited to work with you.
When you contract HPV, it poses a higher risk for cervical precancer. Okay, so it was meant to be yeah, so okay. HPV is the most common sexually transmitted disease in the United States. HPV vaccines can prevent some of the health effects of HPV causes. So they looked at it as like, all right, there's data here that shows this is spreading like wildfire. There's long-term effects potentially for this particular STD if it's contracted. Let's go at this. And I'm talking about like this campaign was so intense. I remember like stopping and being like, wow, like what is happening here that they're putting so much behind this. And I love marketing, so I always look into stuff like that. Well, flash forward a few years after this massive campaign, and there was all these kids that started getting cancer. They pulled the product. Um, they didn't know. They didn't know that would happen. We put a hell of a lot of trust in drugs that are promoted by pharmaceutical companies. And they do testing up front. They weigh it out. I've been on calls with the FDA where they're nitpicking and tearing things apart, and it is annoying from a marketer's perspective, but it's there for a reason, right? They want to bring you something safe. Nobody wants any problems. But the truth of the matter is, it's not a 100% guarantee. Like there's some fail safes in place. There's for every drug that's out there, there's it's called an adverse event. There's a phone number you can call to report in a bad reaction that you're having to a product. And anybody that works for the organization, if they hear anyone talking about a poor side effect, they are legally held accountable to report that side effect. So there's stuff in place. Like there are things there, but it's not immediate. It takes time. And the most recent doctor that was talking to me about the Ozempic situation said to me, he was like, I'm going to be very interested to see in 5 years what this means for the population. If the people, if we're seeing this so much on social or whatever it is, and everyone's endorsing it, and there's this massive turn of everyone going for a grab for this class of drugs, what is that going to mean for everyone's health in 5 to 10 years? Like we don't know. And from what I'm hearing from other folks and other healthcare professionals, they have a very grim look at this. And they're not looking at it in like a positive way, like, oh, you're going to lose some weight, you're going to feel good. And the other part of it, the other component for a product like this that the most recent doctor was talking to me about was that it you're not only losing fat, but you're also very quickly losing lean muscle mass. And so at the end of your taking this particular product, you hit your goal weight. Well, one, you'll probably end up gaining it back. That's first and foremost, because that's typically what happens. And two, you won't be able to sustain that weight loss because your muscle mass is going to be gone. So it's really important here. Like, I was somebody who never worked out, and I didn't really understand the component there. And I still struggle getting myself to the gym. Like, I think I go like maybe 3 times a week. Like, I still struggle making that a priority, even though it feels really great when I go and I know the mental and physical health benefits of it. I still have trouble going. So I hear you guys. Like, I'm not so tunnel vision that I'm like, oh no, you absolutely don't do this. Like, I get it. I've been in that struggle, but this jumping on this wave, you could potentially be doing more damage than good. And I very strongly encourage you to, if you really are truly in need of losing weight, and I keep saying obese because in those instances of obesity, I will very much understand the desperate need to lose weight in those situations because you're stuck and I felt like I was wearing a fat suit for years. For me, it was very difficult. But for women who only need to lose like 20 pounds and you're not obese, seek out a nutritionist if you can. I know it's expensive because most insurances don't cover it. Talk to your doctor. See if there's something else you can do for support. Forcing your body into losing 20 pounds and taking a product and not really understanding what the full term benefits for some, but the full term effects that it's going to have on your body. It's a very scary thing. And it's been bothering me for months. I mean, last year, my husband told me about this and was like, oh, did you see Oprah? And I'm like, oh my God, she looks amazing. Happy for her. Oh my God, the whole population is going to be taking this now. Because I know once Oprah signs off on something, it's like, oh my gosh, let's do this. Because I also have that thing with Oprah. I love Oprah. But this is scary to me. And so it was very important to me that I talk about this today, especially since this is the time that everyone's going to be scrambling to drop weight. Um, do your own research. Look into it yourself. I've said it before and I'll say it again and I'll say it 1,000 times. Be your own advocate and look into things. Now, if you truly are in need of losing weight for health reasons and you need the support of a product, I'm with you. I am with you guys. I hear you. I know the struggle. I know the pain of it. Go for it. Go to that healthcare professional though. Do not try to do it yourself. Go and seek out the support of somebody who can help monitor your state and what you're feeling and what you're going through and what any physical reactions you're having. It is incredibly important that you educate yourself on what you are doing to your body and what it means when you're taking products like Ozempic. It's crucial. And again, I hear you guys and I'm with you, but be safe and be smart. And please, please, please be careful. I know this is a little bit of a downer of a discussion, and I apologize. I know it's maybe not what everybody wants to hear when they're listening to a podcast, but it's something that I needed to tell everyone because I encourage people to do what's best for them, and I encourage people to just live their lives the way that they see fit. I do not judge. I know somebody on this that's being very successful with it, but she was prescribed it, and a doctor is monitoring her, and she's doing really well. It's a different kind of situation. I'm talking about the abuse of it. So if you are going for it, I just encourage you to really talk to somebody about it and really prepare yourself with information. So that way you are doing something that's good for your body in the long term. I really appreciate everybody tuning in today. Our first episode back. Just very exciting to be back in the saddle and recording. I was recording aggressively over the holiday break. So we have quite the stock of women to share their voices, and we've got some exciting things. We also have a mini series coming as well that's going to be specifically focused on special topics. We have several authors coming on this year, and I think next week's episode, very, very cool. sneak preview of next week's episode is an interview with Amber Ontiveros. Amazing person. She has an amazing journey that she's going to share with everybody. And the title of that particular episode is I Had to Die in Order to Live. And I think you're all going to find that incredibly important and impactful. So tune in on our next episode as well. And we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.